Okay.
Record. I'm gonna start recording now.
Okay. Good afternoon or good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Village of Ossining Zoning Board of Appeals special meeting for May 12th, 2020. Again, due to the public health and safety concerns associated with the COVID-19 pandemic, the board is meeting via video conference using the Zoom platform in accordance with the governor's executive orders, specifically order number 202.1. There is no public participation in person tonight. Rather, the public can watch the live meeting online through Zoom. Notice of tonight's meeting was published as required and posted on the village website. The web notice included instructions for members of the public to access the meeting and participants in any public hearings. Comments will only be taken during the public hearing portions of the meeting as usual. In order to participate, please do the following. Members of the public attending online via the Zoom app may use the raise hand feature at the appropriate time if you would like to make a comment. The feature is located at the bottom of the screen. Those attending via telephone can press *9. The meeting host will see that your hand is raised or that you have pressed *9 and will unmute those waiting one at a time so that you can speak. Lastly, comments can be emailed during the meeting to J Martinez, and that's JMartinez at villageofossining.org. Any written comments will be read into the record. Please note that tonight's meeting is being recorded and a video transcript will be provided at a later date. Now let's go over some ground rules. In order to keep the meeting orderly and ensure you get a clear we get a clear recording, please follow these ground rules. When you are giving access to speak, please state your name and address. If you are speaking during the public hearing, please limit your comments to the matter which is the subject of the hearing. If any speaker is inappropriate, they will be immediately cut off and access removed. To the board members, please mute yourselves when you are not speaking. Also to the board members, I will call on you one at a time to speak to avoid everyone speaking at once. If you wish to speak at any time when I am not calling on you, you may also use the raised hand function or literally raise your hand so I can see you and call on you. We will use roll call voting for purposes of all board motions. This is to ensure that the record is clear. Thanks to everyone for their patience as we all negotiate this new way of doing things. So right now, let's start with a roll call vote. For our roll call, we're going to call the roll one by one. So when we say your name, please say that you are present. Marlene Cheatham, present. George Bailey.
Present.
Antonio Martinez II.
Present.
Kevin Griffith.
Present.
Bob Durayo.
Present.
Also with us are Joe Agostinelli, our building inspector, Jaime Martinez, our planning director, Jamie Kane, our board secretary, and Amanda Brosley, our village land use attorney. So let's get started. Continuing business
Can I
of
just
the
make
board
one
from
quick
our last
point of
meeting.
clarification?
Hmm?
One point of clarification.
ma'am.
This is the board's regular meeting. Last time was the board's special meeting. This is just a
Sorry.
regular meeting, just for the record.
Sorry, that is true.
That's just a minor
Yes.
point.
A regular board meeting.
Sorry, you can go ahead.
Continuing business of the board. Starting off with A, which is ZBA 0520 14 Church Street. This application has been adjourned into the June meeting.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, I was wondering what was going on. Okay, so do we need to make a motion to just adjourn it to the June meeting, or is it just adjourn, or is it just off?
It was the applicant's
Usually
decision to adjourn, but
we-
if you want to take a motion, you can do
Okay.
that.
So, well, the applicant has requested that we move this to the June meeting. So to the board, can I please get a motion to adjourn this until the June 2020 meeting?
Motion to
Bob
adjourn
Durayo says so
the
moved.
June meeting.
Okay, I think
All in
I heard
favor?
George and I think I heard George
Bob.
and Bob Durayo with the first and second. All in favor? One by one,
Aye.
Kevin Griffith, George
Aye.
Bailing, Bob Durayo,
Aye.
Aye.
Antonio Martinez,
Aye.
Marlon Cheatham, aye. Okay. Motion carried. B is ZBA 0620, and that's 24 Aqueduct Street. And again, the applicant has requested that we adjourn this until the June meeting. So once again, can I get a motion to adjourn this until the next meeting?
Motion to adjourn, George.
May I get a second?
Second.
Seconded.
And that was Kevin.
That was Antonio.
All those in favor, and we will, oh, that was Antonio? Okay. All those in favor?
I think Antonio
Kevin
got it
Griffith?
first.
Okay.
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Antonio?
Aye.
Antonio? Okay. Bob?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
George?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, George?
Aye.
Marlene, aye.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. I
Aye,
know
aye,
this is
aye.
going to be kind of crazy. We can't all say aye at the same time to keep the record straight. So we will ask for a roll call vote for each one of these. Motion carried.
Each time, yeah. Okay.
We are, yes. So ZBA 0720, which is 10 Marble Place. Is there someone online to speak to this application?
Yes.
Okay, this
Okay, go ahead.
applicant.
Yeah, we
is
have
seeking
JB
area
Hernandez here.
variances to subdivide.
Yes. Okay, this is, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can hear you.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. This is an application that we have been in front of the board before, and we needed to clarify couple additional variances that were required. This is an existing property that has two structures on it, and we were trying to subdivide it into two lots with one structure each. I think we have corrected the forms to reflect the correct number of variances we were requesting since the last time we were in front of the board. Also, it has come to our attention, I don't know if we have the drawings, they can be shown that that there was, somebody brought up to our attention and to Hannah's attention that there is a 8-foot wide easement on the property, or that goes through the property. So we were able to locate the where we believe the easement is, which is kind of the north, I would say it will be the towards Dale Avenue. And there is kind of, there's an S2 drawing or S2E that I compiled that kind of shows the easement. If we can move the drawing.
Is this better?
Can we move? No, that's T1. Can we move it to S2 or S2E?
Yes. Is this one good?
Oh, there, you can see what we, yeah, this is good. And then if you can show the next one, but this one shows better. This is the dark line or the light that you see running through the center of those adjacent property, and it touches 10 Marble, just at the end. That is the easement that is described. And here in the landscaping, you see as well the dark area at the top of the drawing. That is the area that it is described on the easement. So the easement is for a utility easement between Dale Avenue and Marble Avenue, and it goes through lot identified as 82 and 80, and it touches our lot, which is 81 the end, but it doesn't touch the houses. It just goes along the property line just a little bit at the end. So we don't foresee that being an issue with any, with what we were proposing. And I don't know if the board had any more questions from the last time that they saw this project.
I think the board was asking from the last time to see where you planned on putting the additional parking spaces. I believe that was the question.
Those have been showing the parking spaces. If we go back to S1, I think those are, we actually kind of reducing the amount of parking that is in one less. If we go to S1, there we go. We show all the parking spaces. We have 4 parking spaces on lot 1 and 2 parking spaces on lot 2.
So,
Um,
so right here are 4 spaces
okay.
on one lot, and then here are the 2 spaces on the other lot. Can everybody see that? Kind of hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one lot will
In the
have.
dark
okay,
gray area again is
4
the
spaces on that.
those are the 4 spaces for the lot number 2, which is a 2-family, so that complies with that. And the other 2 on the top is for lot number 1. So we also created a green area of separating. Right now, the properties, the asphalt connects to the neighbor, but we now remove a strip of pavement there to create separate areas and create more landscaping. And if you go down on the sheet, you can see the zoning data we have modified to include the parking in the front yard, which was one issue that we missed, in the lot width, which was another variance that was required.
Okay, I just want to make sure that, Joe, we're looking at an area variance of 510 square feet and 19.9 feet, is that correct?
Right, there's actually variances that are required for each lot. One lot is 3 variances. One, I believe, is for the lot area. One is for the rear yard setback, and one is for parking in the front. And the other lot
Right.
has actually 5, I believe, 5 variances that are being requested for the other lot. The one that's being
Okay, so
indicated
10
as lot
Marble
number 1.
Place. So lot number 1 is 10 Marble Place. lot number 1. We're looking at, you're right, 5
If
variances.
you, the chart at the bottom on the sheet, it does describe all the variances. You want me to, should I read the variances
Right.
aloud that we are required, or?
Yes.
Okay. So the variance is needed
All right,
for lot
for
number
lot
1.
1, we need a lot area variance. Right, for lot number 1, we need an area variance of 1,867 square feet, a lot width of 1909 feet, a minimum front yard of 27.3 feet. We need a one side yard of 7 feet, and both side
Okay.
yards 7.96 feet. The impervious coverage is 15%, and we are within 4 feet of the property line. For lot 2, with the payment. For lot 2, we need a variance of 510 feet for lot area, and we need a rear yard 19.9 feet. And again, 4 feet away from the property line with the payment. And also, we need relief from 270-30A5, which is parking on the front yard.
So I guess my question would be, there are 6 parking spaces total.
Yes,
Do the 6 parking spaces cover the minimum requirement for parking spaces?
yes.
Yes.
We need 4 for the lot 2, which is a 2-family, and we need 2 for lot 1, which is a 1-family.
Okay. Are there any questions from the board?
No, I think it seems to be a pretty clear case where this was built at a time when things were a little different, and everything's there, and it's not really much of a way that you can change it because of where it is and how it's situated. So, and in my opinion, it's something that isn't going to go away and doesn't seem to be causing any problems in terms of traffic or anything like that. So I would be inclined to agree with it, the variances.
So
Yeah.
if there's no questions from the board, then can I have a motion to open the public hearing on this?
Motion to open the public hearing. This is Bob.
We have a
Second, George.
Do I have to go through roll call? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I would go through roll call, but
Okay.
that's fine.
Roll call, all those in favor, Bob DeRio,
Aye.
George,
Aye. Aye.
Antonio,
Aye.
who did I miss?
Kevin.
Kevin,
Aye.
Marlene, aye. Okay, public hearing, motion carried, public hearing is open. Is there anyone else to speak on this matter?
There is, yes. We have Deborah Santucci here. Hold on one second. Deborah, you are able to talk now.
Okay, hi, this is Deborah and Dom over here,
My husband Dominic.
Dominic
Jamie,
Santucci. I
thank
just
you.
have some questions.
Yeah, what you have to
Could
state your name and address, please.
Address,
Okay,
please.
So you've given us your name, now you got to give us your address.
Okay, Dominic Santucci, the 15 Travis Lane, Montrose, New York is our residence, but we own the property behind here, 59 Dale Avenue. So what I'm concerned about is I own an easement there, that 8-foot easement, and it's kind of difficult to see on here. But I just want to ask Joe, is this going to affect me at all if I need to use that easement for water or sewer in the future?
No, actually, if you have that easement, which carries with the property, if there's anything that needs to be repaired, if you need to access that, should you have a pair, I don't know what utilities are there, but if it's for, say, a water line or a sewer line, that gives you the access and the right to actually be able to make repairs in that right of way. I'm sorry, in that easement.
And Joe, this is Deborah Santucci. It also gives us the right to install a sewer line there? Because that's why my father-in-law did this. He wanted the right to hook up to the sewer on Marble Avenue without having to use the sewer up on Dale, because it would have to be pumped, just in case there would be some building down at the bottom there.
I would say if there is actually, obviously, by what they found for that easement, if that easement was granted for your property on Dale Avenue, then that was granted specifically for the right to access it to put utilities there, whatever those utilities may be.
Okay. The other question I had is you had a map up, the S2. Is it possible to see that again?
Yes. Give me a moment.
So Joe, on this easement, nothing structural can be built on it, right? Like stone walls or anything of that
Can I
sort?
just interrupt for a second? If you don't mind, let me interrupt. I'm Amanda Rosie, Village Land Use Council. Joe is the building inspector. He's and really none of us here, including me, the Land Use Council or the board, should really be interpreting your easement. It's your private easement for your property. This subdivision is just creating 2 new tax lots. I don't really see how it would impact your easement. This
Easement.
Okay.
Because
That's why
subdivision and the
we're
variances.
here to ask the question.
That's basically
Yeah, so-
what we know about it. So
of course,
just
and
to
I'm glad
understand-
that you came and you're asking questions.
Yeah.
But
Thank you.
I just don't know that asking Joe, what the easement says and the scope of the easement. I don't know that Joe should be
Okay,
opining on that.
I understand, but usually.
If I may add
Sure.
something, just as an attorney, in principle, easements run with the land. So
Right.
you can't, once you have your easement, unless you give it up, it's going to stay with the land. It runs with the land, and it has to be respected. But I mean, I don't see what the issue is, though. I don't see it affecting your easement.
Right.
So,
And
So what they have, they still have.
yes.
Yeah, they still have it. It's good that we know about it. It's good that the zoning board knows about it. And I would hope now that we have an updated map here that the planning board would also know about it. It would probably be more relevant for the planning
To the
board to
planning
know
board.
about.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I just want to notice, even on the diagram here, it says right there, approximate location of utilities easement. So I mean, it's there. Everybody knows that there's an easement.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
And I'm
that's
glad
great.
that we
You know
know
what?
about it now.
Yeah, I had a feeling when I spoke to, I can't remember who I spoke to. It was Jamie, I think, but,
Yeah.
yes, Jaime, right, Jaime. When I spoke to Jaime, it was something that I wasn't aware that if you guys knew of, and I wanted to make sure that before you did anything, it didn't affect that. So I'm glad we've cleared that up, and I'm really very glad that it's on the maps going to the planning board.
Definitely.
So this way, if there's anything that changes, everybody knows about it. And if we had to use it in the future, there wouldn't be a problem. So I appreciate the fact that it was read onto the map.
I just
Yeah.
have a question. So just to understand this right, because I believe my father, I don't quite remember, I was a kid when this happened, that the Mueller, is it?
Yeah.
The fellow that built this house, he didn't have enough room at that time or something, and that's how this became. And we gave him some property so he would have enough room to build the house.
That's on a separate deed.
Yeah, so I don't understand why all these zonings are coming into place now. I mean, doesn't make any sense. We gave him property so he would have enough to build the house, to get a permit and everything. And now all these, is something changing the rules or the zoning or?
No,
I-
actually, it's because they're applying for a subdivision.
Right.
So the size of the lots, one lot is being converted into two. And by doing so,
Okay. This was never separate lots. It was 3 homes on one piece of property.
Right. That's the original configuration.
correct.
And now
That's the
what they're
original.
applying
Okay.
to do is to create 2 separate tax lots. So that creates some bulk issues, and that's why they need variances.
Okay, I understand. In case they want to sell it or whatever, now they can do that without selling all 3 homes at one time.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. That, I mean, I have no problem with that. It's like I said, I'm just concerned about the easement, and we cleared that up. So, you know.
I want to thank you
Good.
very much, and this was a very nice Zoom experience.
Yeah.
I think it worked out well.
Great.
Thank you.
Zoom.
Zoom.
Yeah. This is
We're
a
having
new
a
way
boom
of,
with Zoom.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe. I appreciate the information.
Thank you,
Okay.
You're
Mr. and
welcome.
Mrs. Santucci. Is there anyone else on the line to speak to this?
It does not appear that there are anybody else online. Nobody else has raised their hand. I did want to make one small point, which is not necessarily pertinent to this application, but is pertinent to this application, but not for this board. The variances that were requested for parking are not uniformly reflected throughout here. So this drawing here on S2 shows that there are 3 parking spaces on one side and there are 2 parking spaces on the other, as under proposed subdivision site plan. And at another point, the parking plan is shown differently, where there are 4 spaces for the proposed landscaping plan. So the plans should be consistent.
They are consistent. It's 3 and 1. The other parking spaces adjacent to the building. It's now 4 together. It's 3 and 1. You have 3.
Now, do you see under the S2 proposed subdivision plan? Site
Yeah,
plan?
That one
Yeah,
has
there's 3.
There's 3 and then 1 on the other side?
Yeah, that's consistent in both plans. It's 3 and 1 and 2.
Now you see 3 here
Right.
and 2 here on the second lot.
And then,
So this is the proposed subdivision plan. This is the parking plan that you have here. And then if you go
right,
Right.
down to LS1,
Who's talking?
and maybe I'm reading it incorrectly. Then I apologize. Then maybe they're
It is the
No,
same.
it's just- I think it's the
rotated. I
same.
apologize.
I think it's the same.
It's
Yeah,
the same.
I apologize.
There's nothing is
I was reading it
different.
incorrectly. Sorry.
Okay.
So
Can I
the
make a
only thing I
motion
would
to
say-
close the public hearing?
Can I have
Motion
a
to
second?
close.
That was Bob DeRio. Can I have a second?
Yeah.
Can I have a
Second.
second? I don't know who that was.
It's
Well, one
Bob
of them's
and
George.
Antonio.
Antonio, okay. Remember to say your name so that for the record, who's making the motions. I need a
Roll call.
motion, roll call vote. I can't remember anybody's name.
Do you want me to do it? Because I have
Yeah.
the names listed.
Thank you.
All right, I have them listed in alphabetical order, so we'll just do them the same way each time. All right, George Bailing,
Yes.
Marlene Cheatham,
Yes.
Bob DeRio,
Yes.
Kevin Griffith,
Yes.
and Antonio Martinez.
Yes.
Okay, so motion to close the public hearing is
Motion to close.
passes.
Motion carried. Amanda, do
And
we need to go through the 5 points?
So yes, you do,
Area
but
variance?
I do want to say before you go through the factors that with this application, since it's also before the planning board and the planning board is the lead agency for purposes of SECRA, before you can take final action on this application, the planning board needs to make their SECRA determination, which they haven't done
Okay.
yet, which is unfortunate
So
in
do
terms
we-
of timing.
Do we need
we
a
have to
motion to
postpone it?
adjourn this until we hear from them?
Yes, I think right now you probably have it as close to ready as you will for your decision, which is what I would have advised you to do, is get it as close as you can to where you want it to be. And then you'll have to wait until the planning board makes it SECRA. Then they'll probably, what I'll advise them to
Okay.
do is decide the subdivision subject to your decision on the variances. And then I'll send it back to you, and then you'll decide.
Wow.
So,
Okay,
Also, the
motion
planning board has
to
not-
adjourn
So,
this.
So we need a
until
motion
the
to
planning
postpone?
board does the secret.
So, wait, before we
I just did.
do
Sorry.
that, so should we go through the 5 points first? Or should we just motion to adjourn?
you can,
We're gonna have to do it again when we vote on it.
Well,
Yeah,
well, I think you could do it.
we have to do, yeah.
Sorry, who was gonna?
That
didn't
was-
hear
that
who was
my
talking.
question.
Was that
That's
Jaime?
why I'm asking.
Okay.
I'm waiting, yeah.
I
We
think
have
you
to
might
do it in
want
more
the public hearing
logical
when we
to
vote
wait.
on it.
Wait,
Yes.
wait.
I think you
Go
might
ahead,
want to
Amanda.
hear. Sorry, my connection just got a little weird. I think you might want to hear the planning board's determination. Maybe that might help you to go through the 5 factors.
Okay.
So
I
maybe
agree,
you wait
Bob.
to hear from the planning board.
Okay,
Right.
so.
I agree.
So right
Nancy,
now, I
have
would
a motion
suggest
to
adjourn.
adjourn this.
Motion to adjourn this
Motion
until
to
we hear from the
adjourn.
planning board. Bob,
Seconded
Second,
by
George.
George.
Okay, and then the roll call is George Bailing. In favor
Adjourn.
or against? Okay, so you're in favor, Marlene.
I'm in favor, adjourn.
Okay, Bob Durayo,
in favor of adjournment.
Kevin Griffith,
In favor.
and Antonio Martinez.
Adjourn in favor.
Okay, so that's 5. Motion carries.
Okay. So we look forward to having this on at a later meeting after the planning board has made their secret determination.
Right.
We are up to new business of the board. ZBA 0820 296 Spring Street. The applicant, Frank Matra, is seeking an area variance for side yard and both side yard setbacks for a rear yard deck. Is there anyone here to speak on this application?
Yeah, we have JB Hernandez. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. We don't have, I don't know if JB is a part of this. Oh, you are. Okay, yes. And we have Chris Matra,
Yes, I am.
Christopher Matra.
Okay,
Welcome.
Go ahead.
this is a, hopefully. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Hello?
can hear
Go
Can
you.
ahead.
hear you.
Yes.
Yes.
This is a, all right, this is a, this project is located on 296 Spring Street. It is a undersized lot. It's right across Archer Avenue. This lot, the Matras bought it a year ago, and they've been working and repairing the house. The house has in the rear, yes, the covered porch that they have removed, and in place of the covered porch, they are building a deck. And due to the size of the lots and the adjacent lots, and you can move, if you can move forward the pictures. All these lots are undersized. This lot is 3,700 square feet. And we are proposing a deck that is going to be actually reducing some of the non-conformity. Right now, if you can see the house with the brown roof, you see the porch with the 3 windows in the back. That's the house. That's where it's being removed, and that's where the deck will be going. But due to the conditions of the area and the three lots are like almost a pie shape, so it's very hard to construct anything without requiring a variance, and due to the undersize of the lot. So it doesn't alter the neighborhood, the character of the neighborhood. All the houses next to it have also deck, and by removing the porch that is actually on the property line, now we're moving the variances. So if you move forward the pictures, I think you can see, you'll be able to see drawings of the deck and also the survey. If you see the S1, you can see in red, the red line is the existing structure, and you can see how we are proposing the deck that is going to be farther away from the property line. But again, it does, anything we do there will require a variance. And if you go to A1, you can actually see the larger picture of what we're proposing to do. Jaime, can you move it to A1, please? There you go. I think that gives you a better idea of, again, in red is the existing porch that we are taking down. And in the black area, you see the proposed deck. And I don't know if Chris Matra can say something about it, or if the board has any question. I believe this is a very straightforward case of existing non-conforming lot. Whatever we will propose will require a variance.
Are there any questions from the board?
No.
Okay. May I have, thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing?
Bob says
Motion to
so
open
moved.
public hearing, George.
So,
All right.
Okay, Bob seconds that motion.
opened by George, seconded by Bob DeRio. Roll call vote.
Bob. Mhm.
Okay. Roll call. George
Bob
Bailey.
DeRio.
Yes.
Yes.
Marlene Cheatham.
Yes.
I don't know if Bob already did the roll call, but Bob, can you say it again?
Sure. Yes.
Kevin
Yes.
Griffith
Yes.
and Antonio Martinez.
Yes.
Okay, with 5, the motion carries.
Motion carried. Okay. Is there anyone waiting to speak on this application? I take that as a no.
Motion, Bob, motion to
And
close
does
the
anybody-
public hearing.
Just was
May I have a
checking
second to close the
with
public
Jaime to
hearing?
see if it looked like anybody was here.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Oh, I think Jaime's having problems.
Jaime, is anybody here from the public? I was just double checking.
I'm sorry, I was muted. Yeah, there are a lot of people here from the public, but I don't believe anyone is here for that. Nobody's raised their hand. And I'm checking my emails right now to make sure I didn't get any emails regarding this in the last few minutes.
Okay.
I have not, so.
Okay.
So there's a motion on the floor to close the public
So we had a
hearing.
first,
Roll call vote. We had a first
George
by
Bailing.
George and a second by Bob.
Yes, close.
Well, the roll call,
Yes.
everybody still has to, okay. All right, Marlene,
Yes. Yes, close the public hearing.
Abdaraya,
Yes, close the meeting. Close the public hearing, please.
close the public hearing. Kevin Griffith
Yabul.
and
Aye.
Antonio Martinez. All right, so that was 5. So the
Yes,
motion carries.
aye.
Okay.
Okay.
Public hearing is closed to this matter. I believe we have to go through for an area variance. We still have to go through all of the 5 points. So Amanda, would you walk us through that? And then we can have a vote to accept or deny this application.
Right. Okay. So can everybody hear me okay? Because my internet seems to be a little spotty right now.
Yes, hear you fine.
I can hear you.
Can you guys hear me? Yeah? Okay,
Yep.
good. All right, great.
Yes.
All right, so the first factor for an area variance is whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created by granting of the area variance.
Bob notices that the other houses on either side also have similar decks, so it won't change the character. It's in keeping, in my opinion.
And actually, I believe the deck is smaller than the porch that was existing. So,
It's not more making the variance worse. We're coming off the property line.
Next.
Okay. Do you want me to move to the next?
yes, next,
Okay.
yes, next.
All right, the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance.
I would believe the lot
Not
size
that I can see, Bob.
makes that difficult.
Mhm.
Or not the lot, but the configuration of the lot would make that difficult.
Okay. Moving on.
Next.
The requested area variance is substantial.
I don't believe it's that. I don't see where it's.
No more substantial
No,
than what
I don't
was there
think so.
before.
Right.
No,
Correct. I
No.
concur.
Yeah, consider, does it have any impact?
No.
What's the impact? And if there's no impact, then it's not substantial.
Right.
No impact.
Yes.
I don't believe it has
next?
any impact.
And number 5.
All right. So the next is the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or not emotional or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district.
I think it's
Most
emotionally
had that
would
one
be
laugh.
happy environmentally.
physically.
I think it would. I think the
Yeah.
impact.
I think
would
it's
be-
all good.
Go ahead, George.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
And then the
Yeah.
last factor
think
is
it's
whether
fine,
the
too.
alleged difficulty is self-created. Okay.
I think they're
I
taking
don't know
something
whether
existing and making it.
Was it there before? Yeah, they're making it
There was a
better. I don't
porch
think
there before. It was a.
They're fixing something rather than making
Right.
it worse. Covered porch.
They're not really fixing it. They're demolishing
if you
one
do
thing
find
and they're
that
putting
it's
up a brand new thing.
Another, right.
Right.
Yeah, so it hasn't really
Remember
changed
for-
anything
I
to
don't-
any
I don't-
degree.
But
No.
for an area variance,
Remember for an
impact
area
I'm sorry,
variance
ma'am.
that,
on this.
right, go ahead, Marlene. No, you can say it, Marlene.
no, go ahead.
Real quick,
Okay,
it's
so
it's
for an
important
area
that
variance-
that everybody raise their hand and talk, not all at the same time, because we
sorry.
keep getting that. So you got to be careful about that. It's everything breaks up that way.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, Marlene.
So for an area variance, you're balancing these 5 factors. So even if you do find that it's self-created, that's not, that doesn't make or break them in the case of an area variance.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in light of going through the 5 factors, it seems that we would need a motion to either accept or deny this application. So can I get a motion to
Yeah,
from
Bob
the
would like
board
to make a motion to approve this recommendation. I'd like a motion
Second,
to
may I have a
approve.
second?
Bob,
Second,
Okay,
George.
So, it was moved and seconded by George. It was moved by Bob DeRio, seconded by George Bailing. We can have a roll call vote.
Yeah. So George
Roll
Bailing,
call vote.
Approve.
Marlene Cheatham,
Approve.
Bob DeRio,
approve. Approve.
Kevin Griffith,
Aye.
and Antonio Martinez.
Approve.
Okay, that's 5 in favor.
So motion granted to approve this application for 296 Spring Street, ZBA number 0820. Mr. Matra, have fun building your deck. We're all going to come by for Mai Tais.
Thank you.
Oh.
We are up to ZBA 0920. Otis Curtis is the owner, and I believe it's ZBA 0920 and ZBA 1020 are adjoined lots. Is this the one? And both of these have been adjourned to a future meeting.
Yes.
That's correct.
May I have a motion
That was
to
easy.
adjourn both to adjourn ZBA 0920 and ZBA 1020 to a future meeting?
Motion to adjourn, George.
May I have a second?
Seconded, Kevin Griffith.
May I have a roll call vote?
George Bailing,
Adjourn.
Marlene Cheatham,
Adjourn.
Bob DeRio,
Adjourn.
Kevin Griffith,
Adjourn.
Antonio Martinez.
Adjourn.
Okay, that's 5 in
Motion
favor.
carried. This will be adjourned and we will put on for both ZBA 0920 and ZBA 1020, which is 53 Bellevue, and Prospect Avenue will be adjourned to a future meeting. We are at ZBA 1220, which is 25 Pershing Avenue. Vincent DeLeo is the owner. Is there someone to speak to this matter?
We have Otis Curtis.
Good afternoon. This is
Curtis.
Otis Curtis, but I was the previously adjourned ZBA application.
Oh, I'm sorry, not Otis Curtis. I apologize. What am I doing? Vincent DeLeo, 25 Pershing. I have their application and their worksheet. I do see people here, but I don't know that any of them are here for this matter. I'm going to allow a few of them to talk real fast. Greg Kane, are you here for 25 Pershing? Hello? Okay, all right. Is Jonathan Cluse also?
No, that's not coming through very clear.
Okay.
Yeah,
It
I can't
appears
hear it.
Greg Kane is here for this matter.
Okay.
Are you representing the applicant or are you here to speak in the public hearing?
I can't hear Greg Kane. Bob DeRio.
Me either.
Neither can I.
Yeah, he's coming through. He's coming through muted or disjointed.
Garbled.
Am I still garbled?
Oh, no, that's much
No.
better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm representing the owners of 25 Pershing Avenue. And I think the application speaks for itself. And if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer. Joe is familiar with the property. He helped, and I appreciate his assistance in getting the application in. We have a situation where we have a legal non-conforming lot that was built many years ago. So I think that, again, the rest speaks for itself. If you take a look at the survey, which I'm sure everybody had a chance to do, but I won't assume anything at this point.
So just to understand the application for the board members, this is a deck that is already constructed. They're legalizing this deck. We don't know at what time it was actually constructed, but the lot is a very odd shaped lot. It's triangular. On these type of lots, you have to establish a rear yard in our code. The village code and the zoning code says that when you have a rear yard which comes to a point such as this lot, a surveyor has to establish a rear yard, and the specific directions on how to do so are that they have to basically create a 10-foot length line in the backyard from side yard line to side yard line. That becomes your established rear lot line, which you can see was plotted out there by the surveyor Joseph Links. And then he took a measurement from the closest point of the deck to that 10-foot line, and that becomes the rear yard setback. So what they are requesting is a variance basically for the rear yard setback, where it's supposed to have a 30-foot setback, and it has, I believe, 19.6 or so feet.
6, yeah.
And the other dimensions that you see on both sides, one that says 8 feet and the other one that says, I believe, like 23.4 feet, those are actually side yard setbacks because they are from the deck to the side yard property line. So it is a very odd shaped lot. You know, how it's directed to establish a rear yard line has been created so that the board would know the proper figure of what the dimension of the setback is to the rear yard and know what the actual variance needs to be.
Okay. Is there a, can I have a motion to open the public hearing, if anyone else is here, to open the public hearing on this property?
Yeah, Bob.
Motion to open hearing, George.
Second by Bob DeRio.
We have a roll call vote.
George Bailing,
Yes.
Marlene Cheatham,
Yes.
Bob DeRio,
Yes.
Kevin Griffith,
Yes.
Antonio Martinez.
Yes, I have a question. Then maybe this may speed up in terms of procedure. Would it be appropriate for Marlene as the chair to just move by unanimous consent? Because if unanimous consent is accepted, there wouldn't be a need for a roll call vote. Only if someone objects to unanimous consent, then you would have to have a roll call vote. That might speed things up.
If that's okay with Marlene.
That's fine with me.
So yeah, so Marlene, you would just say, I ask unanimous consent that we proceed to amend it without objection. Proceed.
Okay. So
Good.
motion to open the public hearing has been given. Is there anyone waiting to speak on this property?
No, there isn't anything that I can see. There's nobody raising their hand. I don't believe anybody that's in the background is here for this. And I'm just checking my email real fast to make sure I didn't receive any emails in regards to this. I did actually receive an email during the meeting regarding one of the adjourned matters, but I have not received any emails regarding this.
Okay.
So,
May I make a motion to close the public hearing then? Bob?
Second, George.
So may I have motion to close the public hearing has been given. Motion by affirmed consent by the members. If there's no objection, we will close the public hearing. No objection, motion carried. Are there any questions or issues from the board? May I have a motion to, through our legal attorney to go through the 5 declarations, and we will move forward with this one.
Sure. Is there an undesirable change that will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties? Or will there be a detriment to nearby properties by the granting of the area variance?
No.
I don't see it. I don't believe so.
No, it's already there.
Okay. Right.
Nope.
The benefits sought by the applicant. The benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance.
No.
There is none.
No.
It appears, I think the lot size prevents that.
Yeah, prevents it. Absolutely.
Right.
The lot shape prevents that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The requested area variance is substantial?
No.
No.
Okay. The proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district?
None.
None.
None. No.
And is the alleged difficulty self-created?
I have a question, Bob.
Mhm.
Did he build the deck or did the deck come with the house?
I'm going to go back and say, regardless of whether he built the deck or the deck came with the house, having the area variance in light of the other 4, as we said in the previous application.
Okay. Right. I get your point.
And that's the 5 factors.
And those are the 5 factors. So in light of going through the 5 factors, may I have a motion to either accept or deny this request, this application?
Kevin Griffith, motion to grant the application.
Second, George.
Nice day. I believe we have to have a roll call vote for this.
Yeah, sure. If you would like to do that, that would be a good idea.
I think we should have a roll call vote for the
To
application.
approve.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want me to go down the list?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. George Bailey,
Yes.
Marlene Cheatham,
Yes.
Bob DeRayo,
Yes.
Kevin Griffith.
Aye.
Antonio Martinez.
Yes.
All right, that's 5 in favor.
5 in favor, motion carried. Enjoy your deck.
I want to thank the board for your time and getting this meeting to this point. And Joe, thanks for your assistance as always.
You're welcome. No problem.
Next on the list is ZBA 1325 Brander Street. Is there anyone here to speak on this application?
Yes. Yes.
JB, is there anybody else here with you?
Yes, actually, there are with me here is Pedro Silva, owner of the building.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Good evening.
A little bit light, yeah.
Okay, should I?
Yes. Go ahead, Mr. Hernandez.
Yep. This project is, this is the second time we requested a variance for this project. This project was in front of your board in 2013, and a variance was granted to build three apartments at a lower level, or first floor level, in the VC zone, which is not a permitted use. At the time, part of the compromise in 2013, part of the agreement was that the front of the first floor, the area fronting and branded on the sidewalk, was going to be a store, a retail store, or a commercial area. Since 2013, there has been different proposal that Mr. Silva has tried with his wife, with his own office, and it has been very difficult to rent or be able to allocate somebody due to the location of that retail being down on Brenda Street, more in a residential zone and away from Main Street. And what has happened now that in order to be able to make financial with the building, and we have provided with our application a financial sheet demonstrating how right now the net income on this building is about $200, and he's trying to create an additional apartment at the lower level. So instead of having 3 apartments at the lower level, he wants to have 4 apartments. And also, we will still keep an office or retail area at the front to keep or maintain with the intent of the original approval. It's just that instead of having a almost 700 square foot office, we will now have a 400 square office or retail that right now he's using himself as his own office for his business. So that will bring up the number of dwelling units at a lower level from 3 to 4, which in itself will reduce the amount of parking demand that the project will have. Going back to the application, going back to 2013, part of the hardship was said to be the unique configuration of the building on the property and the historic residential use of the building, mitigated against classifying the hardship as self-use. Again, if we're going to talk about the neighborhood character, we only add in 1 apartment, and there's no exterior work being done in the front of the building. I think we do have another one with the picture. Jaime, if we can, we're not changing the streetscape of the neighborhood. Again, the unique configuration of the building, the historical location of the being all residential in the neighborhood, and the intent of the project is to still maintain commercial along the sidewalk and be able to, with the additional apartment, be able to at least maintain a little bit more financial consistency with the building. I don't know if is there any questions or any?
It's George. I have one question. When did the current owner purchase the property?
2010, I think.
2010. So he was the owner in 2013 when the first variance was granted.
Okay.
So again, I mean, I will say that almost the same reason that led the board to grant the variance in 2013, they all exist today, and the fact that we still keep in the front along the sidewalk as a retail, it does keep with the intent of what the VC district is trying to do.
So what you're trying to do is increase the cash flow of the building.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Very simple.
Jaime, can I ask a question? Do we have just a layout? I don't know if it was provided, but is there a layout of what was originally approved for the apartments and what the proposal is for the additional plan?
Right.
Let me see what was submitted.
No, I don't have all the other 3 apartments laid out. What I have is the layout of the area that we're working on, which is, as you see, is the office in the front. We do have a key plan showing the area at the bottom, how the 3 apartments on the rear, and then you have the front, and we still keep it as an office, and we're creating these new apartments. We also showing that we comply with the habitable areas.
Bob has a question.
The apartment is what I'm trying to, so the board can understand. Where in that layout is the actual proposed apartment? That's additional.
And if you look at the key plan in here, it's like the front, there's the wall that goes up and down. That wall is the demising wall between the apartment and the office.
Where was that wall before that separated commercial to residential?
The whole area that you see in the proposed partial floor plan, the whole area was an office. So the original square footage of the office was about 680 square feet. And now, I'm sorry, it was 1,098 square feet. And now it's going to be 388. So we are carving out about almost 700 square feet to create the apartment.
So,
Bob has a question.
Yes.
Yes. Did you already do it, or are you asking if you can do it?
It's already, the construction already started, and that's how we went to get approvals from Joe to do the framing. The framing already started, yes.
So you already did it before you asked if you could do it? Just checking, okay.
It's the missing one that stood between architect, building department, and myself, and probably I got it a little confusing to it. So when I start, I'm looking for, plans and everything, and the same time when I did that, but fortunately something is not went to the way it should be, and then I try to do anything behind the table, but so that's what I am right now. It's right in the front of the one at the zoning board.
To answer your question, Bob, there's no permit issued for it, if that's what you're asking.
Say that again, Joe.
There is no permit that was issued for the construction of this apartment, if that was your question.
Right. So they
Yeah,
just
exactly.
they just did it. Okay. Thank you very
Joe,
much.
can you clarify how this came to the village? Was it that the property was identified by village staff, or did they come on their own to apply for this, or was there any interaction with the village prior to the submission of the variance application?
Code enforcement issued a violation for construction without a permit.
Okay, good.
Send them to the zoning board because in the village center, your residential units on the first floor are not permitted. And they did get a variance for the 3 apartments, and this is now the 4th one, so they expanded the nonconformity.
Okay.
Jaime, do we have an EAF and a coastal assessment form here, since this is in the LWRP area?
We do not.
Okay, well, those are necessary for the board's consideration.
Okay.
So technically, we couldn't move forward without that.
So this has to be adjourned then.
Bob is talking, but Bob is muted.
Oh.
Sorry, I just
there was some correspondence that was submitted in regards to this application, and there is also somebody here to speak from the public, the same person who sent that correspondence. How should we handle the correspondence? And
Well, let him speak, right?
yeah, I think we should let them speak, but I think Marlene had a question if we could move forward regardless of, did you have a question if we could move forward regardless of? No, we should have both of those things, and because it's in the waterfront revitalization area, it needs consistency review from the EAC.
EAC, right? Okay. Because and then my other question was adding another apartment. I do know the street, and there would absolutely be problems with parking, and I'm pretty sure that I'm surprised the whole neighborhood didn't come out and speak against putting another apartment on a too narrow street with limited parking.
Well, if I may say, with the in reference to the parking, in actuality, by creating an apartment and removing office space by requirement, by square footage, we are reducing the amount of parking required by 1. The demand of parking will be reduced by 1. If we maintain that as an office, the whole area at 700 square feet, you will need 3 parking spaces for that. And for the apartment, we need 2.
You need 2 for the parking space and 1 for the office space?
Yes.
No, 3, yeah.
So it's still 3.
I would suggest that I don't think what was submitted in the package. I think JB, you're going to have to do analysis on the parking, showing the entire building as it's being proposed and the number of units that are in there plus the commercial space, and do a calculation of the parking to show what it was before they added the apartment and what you're proposing now.
And the A1, I didn't do it for the whole building, but I did a parking calculation for existing office, 1,078 square feet, which will require 3 parking spaces. And then if you have a proposed office, which will be 1 parking space, and a proposed apartment be 1 parking space. So then it will be a total of 2 parking spaces versus 3. I didn't do it for the whole building because we didn't change the rest of the building.
Well, that may not be the case because you still have, you said about 700 square feet of commercial space. And if you calculate that, the commercial space, if it needed 3 and now needs 2, and the apartment needs 1, you're still back to 3. It's not
No, if you put up A1, Jaime, it is at the bottom next to the key plan. We do have the habitable, at the bottom. If you go towards the bottom, there is towards the bottom. There you go, parking calculations. Existing office 1,078 divided by 400, 2.7, which is 3. Then the proposed office will be 1. The proposed apartment will be 1. A total of the proposed be 2. That's,
so that's what I understood, because before I thought you had said that the proposed office space was still 600 or 700 square feet.
No, that's the apartment size.
Okay, so can you go up again on that? Can you raise that up to us? So before we had an office space that's 1,078, we're reducing it by
2/3, yeah.
2/3 to almost a third of the size of what it originally was.
Right.
Just out of curiosity, I noticed that the site plan calls this a one-bedroom apartment. However, you've created 2 spaces. One of those spaces is listed as a proposed study. It's the size of a small bedroom. It just doesn't have a closet. Maybe you can elaborate on that a little.
Well, that's, I mean, especially now with everybody working home, I mean, that is, you know, it's going to be a study, an area or home office, as you call it. And if you have an opening greater than 5 feet, that, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, then that's still considered an open space. There is no door on it, there is no closet. So that's the intent of the area, to be used as a study or office space. So it's
If
not,
that was a 2-bedroom, if say for instance you went in and closed that up and turned it into a door, it would then be a bedroom. If you did that, would that affect the parking calculation?
Yes.
yeah,
Yes,
Of course, yep.
yeah.
It also would
Bob.
become an uninhabitable area, not large enough for a habitable area.
right.
Sorry, Bob.
Yeah, can we hear from the person, from the public person that wrote in or is here to talk about it?
I'd have to open the public hearing.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to open a public hearing.
Well, before you do that, Amanda, would the reading of that letter happen prior to the opening of the public hearing or during the public hearing?
I would say you can read it during the public hearing
I said, yeah.
because it's public comment.
Right. May I have a second to open the public hearing?
Second, George.
If this is an affirmative motion to open the public hearing.
Unanimous consent.
Unanimous consent to open the public hearing. Let us move forward. Motion carried. I believe we should read the letter first.
Sure.
Yeah, let me do that now.
Okay.
Just give me a moment here. I apologize. I'm scrolling through my emails here. Okay, so this email is from Mr. Helder Cordero. His name is spelled Helder, last name Cordero, Cordeiro. And he writes, to the Zoning of Appeals concerning the property at 5 Brandreth Street in Ossining. At this time, I'm asking the board to deny the applicant of creating more rental apartments at the said location. This property was already given permission to convert a storage garage building into rental units without creating a single parking space. The previous board should never have given the property owner the green light to expand the amount of rental units without creating a single parking space. As it is, Brandreth Street is already crowded with parked vehicles from the shop owners and patrons from Main Street. I own the property at 13 Brandreth Street, and I can't even park in the street because there's not enough spaces for me or anyone else. Brandreth Street, as you know, it's a narrow street, and there's no more room for more vehicles. I'm asking that you please take the parking situation into consideration before making your decision. I'm all for creating more housing in this village, but this site, it's not the place for it. Everyone these days owns 1 or more vehicles, and there's no room in this area. Thank you for your attention. Helder Cordero, 13 Brandreth Street.
Thank you, Jaime. Is the person waiting on?
That person is here. They do not have their hand raised, but I'm going to allow them to talk.
Okay.
Mr. Cordero, Helder Cordero, you're on. He seems to have, you're muted if you're trying to talk. You have to unmute yourself.
Okay. Let's do it now. Let's do it again.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm obviously the same person that sent in the email to the board. So I own the property at 13 Brenda Street, which is only a couple houses down from number 5, and it's directly behind the building at number 5 Brenda Street. On the whole street from the Kill Brook overpass to number 5 Brenda Street, there's only, I'm guessing, 5 or 6 parking spaces on the side of the street. There's no parking over the overpass, not the overpass, the bridge over the Kill Brook. There's an existing handicapped parking across from 11 Brenda Street, and there's a fire hydrant almost across from 5 Brenda Street. So there's no parking space at all except for 4 or 5 different spots. Now, since Main Street in Asning has parking meters, a vast majority of the merchants and clients are now using Brenda Street to park. And of course, I would do the same thing. It's free parking. I don't blame them for doing that. The problem is, I myself, when I go there, and I have a tenant there, but when I go there, I have no parking space. Sometimes I have to park on Broadway or even further. And I do understand that sometimes we have to walk. Maybe we're not used to walk anymore. And I do understand that the village of Asning needs a lot of housing. And this homeowner, the building owner at 5 Brenda needs some extra cash. I'm all for that. I understand. But this building, and I was listening to you talking before about parking space, whether 2-bedroom would affect the parking in 1-bedroom. Well, it doesn't matter. Right now, he's got 0 parking spaces. It could be a closet, could be a 3-bedroom apartment, doesn't matter. So having more apartments on that street, okay, to my opinion, is a no-no. It shouldn't be allowed to happen. We have the village of Asning has a parking lot across from us. Most of the parking spaces are for permit only. I have attempted to park there over the years. I was never able to do that. And everybody knows that Brenda Street is tight. It's a small street. It's very close to Main Street. And the bottom line is there should be no more residential, no more apartments being built on the street without providing parking. If somehow the building owner can provide parking, by all means, I would give them the permit, let them build. We do need apartments, but that's not the case. So again, I ask the board to take this parking situation into consideration and deny the applicants the permit. Thank you. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak on this?
There are, yeah. We have JB Hernandez has his hand raised for some reason. JB, would you like to speak?
I wanted to say something, but I was trying to learn Zoom as well here. I just wanted to, I had a question for on the procedure for Amanda, since this project already has a site plan approval and already has a variance, we still have to go through the same process as, going to the environmental board, because there is no proposed, it's all interior work. There's no exterior work proposed. There is no site plan, there is no, it's just it's just a conversion of a space into an office space into an apartment.
Well, because it's a use variance, it's, I didn't write the LWRP portion of the code because it's a use variance.
Okay.
It would be considered, under my reading of the code, it would be considered an action pursuant to that portion of the code. And so it would have to go for a consistency review. And granted, they might not really care that much about what's going on, but I still think it does need to go based on how an action is defined.
Okay. And then the other thing, going back to the amount of parking utilized, I do understand the parking situation on Brenda, but again, by creating an apartment, we're not increasing the amount of parking. I mean, if the whole space is used as an office, then it will create a greater demand for parking than an actual having an apartment.
Is there anyone else to speak on? Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Is there anybody else to speak on this? Anyone else waiting to speak on this property?
We have some random people that appear to be listening, but I guess they don't have their hands up.
So we have only, so I know who Nina Aaron is. I know who Otis Curtis is.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna allow Jonathan Kluse to talk. I'm not sure who he's here for. Hello, Jonathan Kluse, you're able to talk now. Are you here for this project?
Nope.
Okay, all right,
Thank you.
And that's it.
That is it. Okay, so a motion, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Yes.
Motion to close, George.
Okay, I believe it was Antonio and George that moved to close the public hearing. The words just went out of my brain. May I have
Unanimous consent.
and unanimous consent to close the public hearing. Being no objection, public hearing is closed. I believe that is the last of the applications before us for today.
Marlene, we have to do a motion to adjourn this case. Don't we?
Oh, yes. May I have a motion to adjourn this case?
Bob, so moved.
Wait, pending an EAF?
Yes, they need to submit an EAF and a CAF.
Yeah, okay. Do we need to adjourn it till the next meeting or adjourn it until when that is done?
Yeah, until they provide the appropriate materials.
So we will adjourn this until they provide the EAF and the appropriate
Documents.
Yes.
Okay. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
May I
George
have,
moved, Bob seconded.
I'm going to call for a roll call on this one.
Okay. George Bailey,
Yes.
Marlene Cheatham,
Yes.
Bob Durayo,
Yes.
Kevin Griffith,
Yes.
and Antonio Martinez.
Yes.
Great. 5 in favor.
Okay. This will be put off and this application will be adjourned until all of the necessary paperwork has been submitted. That being the last thing on our agenda. Amanda, I just have a question. I know we adjourned, I think it was Mr. Otis's properties, and he is here to speak.
Yeah.
He's here, but I don't know that he's here to speak. He hasn't raised his hand.
Okay.
I think he may just be here to listen.
Okay.
If you'd like, I can enable him to talk. It's up to you.
No.
He hasn't asked, has he?
He has not raised his hand, no. So.
Oh.
And we did have a conversation with him prior to this meeting, so.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Otis, for coming. I think that is the end of the meeting. Before we adjourn, is there any new business, any other new business that we need to discuss?
I don't think so.
Minutes,
Did you
right?
Did you have any minutes?
Yeah, so I just need to
Have to
adopt
approve.
the minutes from the April 30th, 2020 meeting. May I have a motion to adopt those minutes?
Motion to adopt.
Motion
the
to
meeting.
adopt. Second.
Bob Durayo motioned, George Bailing seconded. Can I have a motion by unanimous consent to
Approve.
approve those minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Being no one has
Objected.
objected to that, motion carried. Minutes will be approved with any necessary corrections. We look forward to our next meeting, which will be in June.
Yep. It is on June 9th.
June 9th. Okay. So again, I believe we will still be meeting on Zoom in June. I don't think we'll
Zoom,
be
Zoom,
Zooming.
Zoom. Yeah.
So we will be Zooming in June. We look forward to everyone coming again. Have a great night. Enjoy.
Thanks
Enjoy
everyone
your week,
for
and happy
attending.
belated Mother's Day to all the mothers.
Yes. Happy
All right,
Mother's Day.
And may the
Happy
force be
Mother's Day.
with you.
And may the force be with you. That's right.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Everyone, have a good night.
Thanks.
Good night.
Bye.
All right.
Bye now.